With SMAC, you were out in front of this kind of blending of culture and storytelling and sports. How did you come up with the thesis?
I got fired, which of course you're stunned in the moment, and then you realize this is the best thing to happen because there was no company that could offer me what I knew I wanted to bring, which was combining the decade at the NFL, the decade in entertainment, and that's how it was literally born, which is sports, media, and culture.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of SBJ's On Stage. I'm your host, Taylor Bloom. This week, we're bringing you a special episode recorded on May 20th, 2025 at SBJ's Force event in New York City. It features a powerhouse conversation between Sports Business Journal's publisher and executive editor, Madkour, and the co-founders of SMAC Entertainment, Michael Strahan and Constance Schwartz-Morini. Michael's journey from the NFL to daytime television is well known, but what's less visible is the strategic machine behind him. That's Constance, his longtime business partner and SMAC's CEO. Together, they've built a company that redefines what modern athlete brands and media platforms can look like. This conversation explores the SMAC origin story, the DNA of brand building across sports and entertainment, and how Michael and Constance are rewriting the rules of influence one story at a time. Let's go on stage.
We have to refer to her as Dr. Constance, as she got an honorary degree on Saturday. And so how'd that go?
Well, the highlight is I have it and Michael doesn't, so no matter how amazing the honor is, really?
Yeah, I have several, actually.
You have what?
I have several doctorates.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
From who?
Texas Southern, from NYU.
Who'd you pay?
Anybody. They said, we don't have anybody with a gap in his teeth with a doctorate, so we're going to give you one.
There you go.
See, here we go.
But I'm saying congratulations, doctor.
Thank you, doctor.
I would not refer to you as doctor after that, but yes.
What was your message to the graduates?
Our message, which is hustle like you're broke, which we still do to this day, because what we were trying to explain, I was trying to explain to them is this generation, is I'm sure a lot of people face, is just not understanding when you get into a company, you're going to be promoted in a year, or you're coming in as a boss. So I was just trying to reiterate, keep working hard from day one all the way through, because we work as hard, if not harder today. And that was one of the messages. And then authenticity is your superpower. Those fit perfectly. Michael, I saw in the video, you called her brilliant. And how did the relationship with you two start? She was at the NFL?
She was at the NFL. And this was back in 94. I came into the league in 93. I think in 94, 95, NFL had this thing called the Lineman Challenge, and it was being run by Constance and Tracy Perlman, who still worked at the NFL. And I asked them, can I be in the Lineman Challenge? Hey, Frank, see you. And they said no. They told me no, I wasn't big enough.
Hold on, we weren't
No, you told me I wasn't big enough.
There was men running it.
I was not big enough. I was just giant, but I wasn't a giant in their eyes, right?
Got it.
So some player got hurt, and they called me up, and I did it, and I ended up winning this competition. And from that moment, we just had this connection. Anytime they needed anything, then I would jump in. And this was back in the day before the NFL had these big production departments. They had Constance and Tracy and other young women who were literally coming up with ideas to fill the airtime that they were given by these networks.
I love the credit he's giving me right now, but NFL Films, let's not forget, those guys were the ones definitely coming up with it, and we were brought in to be the coordinators and try to wrangle people like you. Thank you for that, but there'll be people watching
I'm
this.
trying to pump you up here. Don't ruin it.
You were the epitome of
I felt like she and Tracy gave me the start to my career. You
stayed in touch, obviously.
Yeah. I'm literally like my sister. And then when she left the NFL, she moved to L.A., and I would go to L.A. intermittently, every once in a while. But every time I would see her, we'd hang out. She was working at the firm, and she was working in the music business, and it didn't matter. We just always stayed connected for some reason.
Did you think you'd be business partners?
No.
Not back then, no.
And I accidentally became a partner because I retired from the Giants. I moved to L.A. because I was working for Fox, and I would always ask her for advice. And eventually, I went to the office one day, and I would always have an opinion about other things she was working on. And she said, hey, you either have to join the company or you need to stop coming in here. And I decided to join the company, and that's how we became partners.
Was he just offering too much advice and you're like, stop it?
Yes,
Yeah,
and then
okay.
dragging me to all these meetings that were, and I get it. I mean, he's so curious and just so smart and so intuitive that he just was new to sort of navigating the entertainment space. He was like, can you come to this? Can you come to this? And I was just like, okay, like this is too much. Like, because SMAC literally was started from my kitchen table.
Right.
So it was very, like, much in the infant stage. And as much as I would have liked to take all the meetings with him, it was a time suck.
What was the thesis for SMAC? Because, I mean, with SMAC, you were out in front of this kind of blending of culture and storytelling and sports. How did you come up with the thesis?
I got fired, which, of course, you're stunned in the moment, and then you realize this is the best thing to happen because there was no company that could offer me what I knew I wanted to bring, which was combining the decade at the NFL, the decade in entertainment, and that's how it was literally born, which is sports, media, and culture. So, you know, I'd love to sit back and say, oh, this was the vision. Not at all. It was talent management in the beginning. We ended up producing a doc about the state of play happiness, which was athletes die twice. They die when they retire, and then they die. And so that was the first time we really got into it when I was out of the NFL from the start. Although I did produce Snoop Dogg's Fatherhood. I don't know if anybody ever watched that one. That was a good one.
I did not watch. Anyone watch that one?
Chicken, they were too young.
Okay,
This was
yeah.
a long time ago. Chicken wings were weed back then because it wasn't so popular. So whenever we'd go somewhere and we were looking for chicken wings, it was marijuana for Snoop.
Ooh, that's a nice little chicken nugget.
And so, but you saw a void in the marketplace, right? You knew this. You thought this could work. This type of storytelling.
The storytelling, the management, bringing it all together, and then from the platforms that we started building, we were able to launch his suit collection or Wear by Erin Andrews.
Yeah.
So it's really the 360 model.
And so, Michael, what interested you about it? I mean, did you want to be in the storytelling space? I mean, I know that when you retired, you did a lot of different things.
Yeah, I think for me, I think a concept, it's not like I planned on retired and getting into TV. I didn't know you could make a living doing TV. I just thought it was fun. That's why I did it when I was here in New York. And then I go to Fox, and then you have the opportunity to just do different things. Like Constance said, we're both curious.
Right.
Like I always wondered how the system worked, how it worked. Well, what was it about telling a story? How do you sell a story? How do you find a story? And I'm still curious to this day to find different stories, interesting things to bring to the public. And so, yeah, I would always just had this natural curiosity about it, but it wasn't something that I ever consciously said, this is my next career and this is my life, because the only thing that I had seen pretty much at that point for athletes was you play as long as you can play, you try to save your money, and you move to Florida and you retire.
And you didn't want to do that.
I didn't want to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
So this was a good avenue. And so what type of storytelling did you want to, like, how can you target and find a good story?
For us, it's, would we watch it? Is it compelling, and is it on brand for us? So, of course, you know, there's a lot of messy TV we all watch. That's not something we'll put our names on. We also like to focus on a voice for the voiceless, as we say. So what are the stories that should be told but haven't been told yet? And at this stage, I think of both of our careers, how's the process going to go? Like, if you're doing a story on someone who doesn't really want the story to be told, it's
gonna
not
be too
worth
hard.
it for anybody.
Yeah, and I think we find stories, like I said, that are compelling to the audience, compelling to us. And I find a lot of people are finding us now for stories.
Right.
Because the biggest thing when you're telling a story about somebody's life or some situation is people want to trust you. They want to know that you're going to, you know, be authentic in what you do and you're going to tell the truth. I have never been, and neither one of us have ever been, the gotcha. You know, I will never interview somebody and like, well, tell me about this. And I know that it's something that puts them in a bad position to make myself look better. And I think that's how we are with storytelling. We tell the story the way as honestly and as we possibly can to honor the person who the story's about, and also just let the public make their opinion about whatever the result may be at the end of a story. If it's something that may have some controversy to it, it's not my job to sway your opinion. It's our job to just give you the truth.
So many of your stories are personality driven. Like, is it easy to spot that personality? I mean, Deion, you had a relationship with him. You probably knew that would be a great story, but you did something with Travis Hunter. Like, is it easy to spot?
I wouldn't say it's easy to spot because in a lot of instances, what we might see behind the scenes doesn't translate on camera.
Okay.
There was somebody, we're not going to say who, but we literally had a doc ready to go for them. And they're a huge personality, and they wouldn't do it. And then now we get hit up with they want to start a YouTube channel. And we're just sort of like, you know that you could have had a global platform telling your story. But if they're not ready, we can't force it. So that's what I mean by going back to the subject has to be willing.
One of the hardest things for people to do is people can be away without the camera. Hardest thing for people to do is be themselves in front of a camera.
In front of the camera.
That's what I've found out. Like, you get some people, and they got this great personality, they're funny, you're like, oh, I want to hang out with them. And then to put a camera in front of them and you want to interview them or talk to them and they freeze. Because I think they're afraid that people might see more of them or see the real them, if you can understand that.
Yep.
And so, yeah, putting the camera in front of some people just doesn't work, no matter which kind of personality you think they may have.
On the flip
We don't have that problem with Coach Prime.
So Deion doesn't have that problem. He's got too much personality.
Yeah. Are there times whenever you feel the personality's contrived or fake, that they're different on camera than you know them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I don't necessarily find that with people we work with, because we're not going to put you in any situation that's uncomfortable. But yeah, I work in a job where I interview a lot of people all the time, and some of them I know personally and I know them professionally. And yeah, there are people who put on that what they need to put on in that moment and to get through, and who are probably not what you think they are. Yeah.
And that also is with your character, not your characters, the storylines. Like, people probably thought they had a perceived notion of Deion before you tell his story, right? And your story, or your mission is to tell the story of the Deion that you know and that you're familiar with.
The interesting thing, there's many interesting things about him, but when Twitter and Instagram first happened, we had to force him on it, which you probably are like, there's no way, given how everything is on camera now.
And now we regret it.
And by the way, we say these things to his face, and obviously he's probably streaming this right now and ready to retaliate with some jokes back, but he is a master of it. You know, like, he's himself all the time. And I think what's been so neat watching the evolution from him on social media to Barstool, which really kind of, opened the lid, and then making sure to highlight everything that happened to Jackson State. Like,
Right.
It's all just been really awesome being a part of it and watching just the train go.
And the thing about Deion, I think, is a misconception with people. And Deion's like, a lot of people find him polarizing. They love him or they hate him. And Deion is sincere. He cares about these kids at every level of his coaching, at every school. He really sincerely cares about these kids. He wants what's best for these kids. And he'll put himself out there to take to take all the pressure off the kids. So I think people like, oh, he's a showboat. He does this, he does that. No, he is sincere about what he feels. And there's nothing fake about him, which is what I love. What you see is what you get, and I'd rather have that than someone who puts on this nice persona, but behind the scenes doesn't care about the kids, only cares about money and what they can make and what they can do. Is he flashy? Yeah, but when has he never not been flashy? I think he came out the womb with a gold chain on. So that's just Deion.
Oh my God! Do you think you could have done this type of storytelling, Michael, if you were the subject when you were playing at the Giants? Would you have been comfortable with that?
No. It was weird. I was mentally I was different. Football was everything. Like, I didn't grow up playing football. I played 1 year in high school. Then I go to college at HBCU, right. Texas Southern. Next thing you know, I'm in New York. I don't know anything. I'm scared to death in the city. I'm afraid to walk and look up. I don't want to get robbed. Oh, you're the tourist. Give me your money. I was just so naive about New York. So when I came here, I was starving to figure out how to play the game. So I wasn't comfortable enough in my skills as a player early in my career, and even to the end, I was comfortable at the end, but I just so already ingrained in my mind that I needed complete focus on football. And I always tell these young guys, every young player now, oh, my brand. Yeah. My brand. When guys say that, I'm like, I hate it. You're human. You're not a brand. You're a person. Worry about your primary job. My primary job in playing football, I didn't fool myself to think that I was anything more than a football player and trying to be the best that I could be at it. And everything else was secondary. So never mess up your primary for something secondary. And I see so many guys now who are so worried about a career before they really had a career in this. And in football. And I wouldn't have been ready. It worked out how it should work out for me. Focus on football, afterward to be curious about life, and let things work out.
Con, when you hear an athlete say they are focused on their brand, what does that mean to you?
What level? Collegiate level, professional?
Let's start with collegiate.
It's been a challenge, for sure. I mean, fortunately, the student athletes who are now in the NFL that we worked with, they were able to balance it, and we were all on the same page that once they were ready to go into the NFL, like you won't see Travis on Overtime or his YouTube channel now. He understood it. Like, he understood the mission. Let's go play the best you can be in the NFL, and the rest will come. But I think because it was such a new wild, wild west for all of us, that this younger generation who digital natives are growing up on social media, it was just natural for them. Mm-hmm. And obviously playing for Coach Prime, it was encouraged, and they were winning. So it was never, and to Travis's credit, All-American, you know, graduated early with honors, all the things. So how do you tell someone like that, don't do it? But it was great to be aligned, knowing as he's going into the NFL, not doing any of the on-camera stuff.
And so we talked about the personality-driven pieces, but there's also the how important is the behind-the-scenes access pieces that you do as well? Like, where are we seeing that genre going forward?
Everybody wants the behind the scenes. I think that's why so many of these documentaries do work, where you know you're literally seeing what's happening behind the curtain. I know mandates change all the time with the networks and the streamers, but the behind the scenes access, I mean, that's why Hard Knocks has had such an amazing run, and they did the off-season one, and I mean, I love tuning in, and we're in this world for 30 plus years now.
Harder to get behind the scenes access, more layers you have to get approval.
1,000%.
Yeah.
But you got to be careful. We did behind the scenes for Fox NFL Sunday one time, and Terry Bradshaw ended up apologizing. Because he said he thought the cameras were off, and he said something that was just like, I'd be uncomfortable if you said that if the cameras weren't even here.
Is that right? So
you got to be careful. Because I think when the cameras are off and you're comfortable, you think they're off, you're comfortable, people say things trying to be funny or joking or telling a story, and it doesn't translate well sometimes outside of that room that you're in.
But we're going to still continue to see that genre because that's what people want, you're saying.
1,000%.
And I think people are more conscious. I think behind the scenes is where it's at. We all see the end product.
Right.
But people want to see how it's made now. I think there's just a natural curiosity. And I think people behind the scenes on a lot of things, they really want to see if that is your personality, as you brought up earlier. They want to see if that real person, if that's the real person we're seeing when they're not in front of that camera.
Mm-hmm. Talk a little bit about one of the most exciting, I think, upcoming productions is on John Madden. And it's something that, if we can show the photo, they released a photo of, and you know, Con, walk us through that, so what are we looking at there?
So Christian Bale is playing Al Davis and Nick Cage playing John Madden. I actually was lucky enough to go do a set visit yesterday, and you are taken back in time. I mean, these guys are treating this with such respect and love, just knowing how beloved these guys are, and it's just wild. Talk about like method acting. When we got to meet them off the set, they stayed in character, and we don't work with any method actors at SMAC, not in a good or a bad way. Like, so just seeing that happen, you're just blown away. It was like going back in time.
I mean, is it uncanny or what? I mean, Frank, that's pretty wild, right? And so you got, obviously, Nicolas Cage putting on a few pounds for Madden, and Christian Bale, he's in character as Al Davis, even off.
I was dying to know what brand of gum he was chewing because he was nonstop with the gum. I mean, nailed it. And I was just like, how is that not losing flavor?
But you got to realize, even for us, we produced the Madden documentary on the video game.
Right.
And then the movie that's coming up with David O. Russell is directed a movie. It's surreal for us. I mean, you got to remember, like, Oswego, Texas Southern, two kids come to the NFL in some way, and now we somehow start this company together years ago, and as Constance said, it started at her kitchen table. And then we see this, and it's like, oh, we're working with these two? We're producing what movie? And so it's for us, we've always gone out of our way, especially with NFL, and to tell the story of John Madden and Al Davis, you have to honor them in the right way, and that was the important part for us. And because you could very easily try to write something just for the sake of selling tickets, and it could be the worst depiction. But for us, the authenticity of making this right is important. And we've always gone out of our way when it comes to NFL and players and former players. They ask for our help. We always show up because we're like, this is where we came from. So we want to help and honor where our career started by helping the next generations come up. So this is like surreal to even see this and be a part of it.
And so, Con, tell this will be released, and SMAC's role, you're an executive producer.
Michael and I are executive producers. David O. Russell, who's brilliant and genius, and Todd Black, who's Denzel's producing partner and has been involved in every major film. And he was on set yesterday, and he should have been in Cannes. And you're just like, how do you even choose? I mean, and Matthew Budman, like, it's as David O. Russell says, it's a love letter to John and Al. It really is. Just, I don't think these two get enough credit for how they changed all of sports landscape.
I would agree on that. Release date?
They don't know yet, but it'll definitely be third or fourth quarter next year.
Third and fourth quarter of 26.
26.
Got it. So what trends are we seeing? And please ask questions. Dan Kaufman, I think this is working, but I can't believe the audience has no questions for this great group, but I'll keep checking.
Someone is writing one, thank you.
Thank you. What trends are we seeing in the doc space overall? We're not inundated, but there's an introduction of a new doc every day. Are there certain things that companies want from you as producers?
Behind the scenes, which you mentioned, is very important. And then we're also hearing that a weekly, something that can take you from 6 to 10, episodes, that's where audiences want to keep coming back for more.
So not just the one-off, not just the one episode. They want a little bit. Why is that? Just more regular appointment, or I guess it's not appointment, but they just want.
It depends. Some of them, are dropping day and date. Some you get to binge. Coach Prime will be 3 episodes, which who knows? I think by the time, we're in production now, and I think by the time we really get towards the end of it, who knows if we're going to need more or not? Because that's a lot to tell.
What else do you see, Michael, out there? What have you watched that you particularly enjoyed recently?
What have I watched that I particularly documentaries? That's a very good question. I don't have a lot of time to watch.
Probably don't.
I'm in bed by 8 o'clock.
I loved the Serena doc, and that probably checks the boxes.
Serena doc was great.
Behind the scenes, plus I think that was 8 episodes, and she's the GOAT of GOATs.
Right.
So that
Simone
was an
Biles
awesome
was
doc.
interesting because, doing the news and talking about how could she not compete in the Olympics. Twisties, what are the twisties? She's the greatest ever to do it. How could she not be able to do something that she could do in her sleep? But then when you're watching the behind-the-scenes video of her trying to get out of it in her hotel room and she can't complete the move in her head and she pulls herself out, but then to watch the doc and how she came back from that is pretty outstanding. I just love these things where you overcome.
Right.
Like you overcome adversity. Those have always been the things that have stuck with me.
How many have watched the Simone Biles doc? Raise your hand. Okay, so that's another. If you haven't seen it, check that out. You talk about multi-hyphenate a lot. Can you explain what that means?
Multi-hyphenate is like what Michael was talking about, is you want to keep the main thing the main thing. You're going to make your living, your name off of your sport, but then you have interests that are off field or off camera. So for him, obviously he's a great football player, but then also the producing, the on camera, the off camera, the clothing line, like all those things. And then for Coach Prime, where do you begin with that one? The coffee, the
Right.
coaching, it just goes on and on. Every day we get a new email from him or a text on another great idea. Aaron Andrews, amazing,
So a
sideline
lot of
reporter.
business verticals.
Correct.
Yeah, because we try, if our clients are interested in something, we just don't think, oh, okay, yeah, we're going to send you over here to handle it. We take it from inception all the way through. Mm-hmm. And that's one thing we're proud of. We can handle all of that in-house from the beginning to the end. And if we need to, find the best partners for our client to help us get it to the finish line. And that's been one of the most gratifying things, to have somebody have an idea and to see it come to fruition and actually happen. Because you realize at this point, we really are working for them. And it's another way to make somebody's passions and dreams come true. It's nothing better than to watch Erin have her own line when she had been trying for years to get something going and been turned down by everybody and anybody. Then all of a sudden she does it, and Whereby EA is a huge hit, and it goes from NFL to NBA to hockey to everything. And I think that, that's a gratifying feeling for us, and we know it's gratifying, and for her, it makes her really happy.
We say we're the dream killers or the dream makers, because you have to poke the holes. That's, you have an idea, let's poke the holes now, so before we go to market, the holes are filled.
And so poke holes also to see if it is going to work, right? Of course. And so how's the clothing line going?
Great. We just have the design lab we just opened. Go sign up, custom suits. We have something here actually.
Yeah, you do.
Thank you for the pop-up.
We have Design Lab here.
Yeah,
so
check it out.
the clothing line has been great, and it's been 10 years. And we've made it through the pandemic and everything else, which has been, I guess, a testament to our team. But Corral does an incredible job of working on that. And so for the clothing line, it's been great. Aaron's clothing line has been great. I mean, between Deion and Wiz and everyone else who other products we worked on, everybody is kicking butt.
And it doesn't just mean a clothing line or something. Like Tony Gonzalez has been working on a script. He wants to, write,
Is that right?
executive, produce a movie, star in it, like all the things. Because when you tell people, no, you can't do this, we're like, no, we are going to find the workaround for it. So when we went to his partners at Amazon, they're like, bring us something. We're like, okay. So it's been 2 years now, and we just got the final script, so we'll be knocking on some doors soon.
I love that. And so let's get into a little bit more about you two. In the back, we were talking what you admire, but see on Michael. He's very, I think you said, regimented. He's able to
Compartmentalize.
explain.
I'm speaking for him like he's not here. But he would tell the story when he was playing that he'd be sitting on the bench when offense was out and talking to whoever was sitting next to him about what he was doing later after the game, da-da-da-da-da. And then all of a sudden, whistle blows, helmet goes on, and he's locked in, and he goes out and tries to crush Tom Brady and have the air come out of his lungs. That's carried over into his life. So he can literally be, ready to go for Good Morning America, cameras on, he's in, commercial breaks, we're texting. And I'm just like, how do you do that? Like, you're not prepping, but I say it's a gift and a curse to be able to be so compartmentalized.
But I like
And
texting during the
multitasking.
show. Keeps me going. Wakes me up. I mean, at least somebody else is up with me that early. I feel better about the day.
But you're very disciplined with your time.
Yeah, I'm disciplined with my time. Plus, I don't want to disappoint anybody. Like, when I'm locked in and I'm supposed to be somewhere to do something, I owe it to them to be there and be present to do it and the best that I could do it. But yeah, it's football. The McCourty brothers know. You can get on the sideline and you can talk and chat and we can have a conversation. And yeah, so last week and defense. Oh, hold on 1 second. Grab my helmet, put it on, and instantly mine switches to what I need to focus on right now. And it is a gift and a curse. It really is.
Right.
And but I'm lucky I have it because I think it allows me to do so many different things and be able to focus on so many different things in a matter of minutes or days.
And so when he does morning TV, you got to be up at 5.
Yeah, 5:30.
And then
You got to be ready to go.
You got to be ready to go.
Yeah, it's not like give me a cup of coffee and close the office door, let me catch up. No, it's like you get there and you go. And the thing is, when you walk into the studio, if you're one of the hosts of the show or whatever it may be, your energy is what directs the day.
Yeah.
And I like consistency. I don't like seeing somebody in one day and then they're like, hey, next day you see them, they act like they don't know you. Can't stand it. Be consistent. So for me, it's consistent to get to work, to be encouraging, to be upbeat, to say hello to everybody, say good morning, and to get the energy off in the right way.
And then
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I rarely compliment him, so just
Yep,
go with
that's
me on
true.
this. But was it 2 weeks ago you went out and met all the rookies at Giants camp, right? You didn't have to do that. Wasn't it?
Oh,
2
when I
weeks
went to
ago?
practice.
Yeah. I mean, they're always calling you to do that. So you are trying to, I think, maximize your time, but when you know you can give back and help, like, you do it. So it's a compliment.
Yeah, but I think that goes hand in hand in just business for anybody out there. And to me, the important thing that I've learned in football that I've carried over to business, and I know we do it in SMAC, we work together. It's not like you work for me. No, we work together. I was a kid who grew up in Germany, and I worked in the NCO club washing dishes. I used to cut grass. I used to do all these things that people didn't move furniture. People didn't see you. You were just you weren't seen. So for me, it's very important to make people feel seen because I know what it feels like not to be seen. I know what it is to be a rookie in NFL and these guys treat you in a way in which I never would have treated anybody. And it wasn't the superstars who treated you that way. It was always the guy who was on the bubble of getting cut. Mm-hmm. Maybe he was the fear of his job or think you were going to take his job, so he's trying to mess you up. But I remember as a rookie going through that, and I hated going to work. Hated playing with the Giants my rookie year. I said, I'll never make anybody feel that way in anything I do because I need these young players on the football field to help me win. And when we won the Super Bowl in 2007, had Kevin Boss, Johnson. We had all these young guys who helped us win. If I made them feel like I felt, I don't think that would have happened. So making people feel seen, making them feel like they're a part of a team, getting the best out of them that you can get is, I feel like, my responsibility and our responsibility.
And that's why this partnership is just so seamless, because we have the same, work ethics. And he was like, Frank knows this. When I was an assistant at the NFL, there were definitely some of the male executives that would be like, why is that secretary in the room? And can you imagine, like, you're sitting there and you feel that way, and it's like if Frank and Maureen Rose and everybody were like, she's supposed to be here, and that's carried me through that. I don't want anyone to ever feel that way, anyone.
So I'm going to flip it to you, Michael, about what you really notice, admire, and have a trait of Con in terms of, because I've seen her work her ass off. And like,
My feet won't touch. That's what.
Unlike how Con treats me, I actually compliment her all the time. Do I?
No,
I
at least
do.
not to my face.
All right. Well, I compliment her all the time. I call her the boss because she is the boss. Mm-hmm. And the one thing I love about Constance is she is not afraid to say what she does not know. But she'll go find out, or she'll find somebody with the information. If she messes up, she owns it. She doesn't cut corners, beat around the bush, feed you a bunch of BS. She's like straight to the point. And I love that about her, but she's always trying to build other people up. And she is a bulldog for other people, but she's soft for herself. She bought a car one time.
Lemon?
Yeah, bought a lemon, and they were giving her a hard time, and she just could not. I had to go to the dealership.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, they didn't do anything when you went.
They didn't do anything when I was there, but I went.
But it made her feel better.
But it made her feel better. But she's like a bulldog for everybody else, but she's soft for herself. But I admire the fact of how she fights for everything, for everybody, and she just really wants people to be better. That's the one thing that I love the most. She wants me to be better, and everybody works for us. And I never thought I was going to have this career.
Right.
I didn't even know if I wanted it.
Right.
But I do know that she was the one who made me believe that I could have it, because I was doing Fox, and that was kind of like the natural thing. Athletes go on to sports and talk about sports. And I went over and I co-hosted with Kelly when Regis was on break, and I finished the first show, and I go backstage, and that hour went like that. And I said, how did I do? And she just looked at me and said, like, this is what you're going to do. She would give me like this pep talk. This is what you're meant to do. This is what you're going to do. And I'm like, where am I going to do this at? This is a one-time appearance. And then Regis retired, and this was my champion to push me to do that. And then once I got that job, life really changed in the better.
What I love about that story is, like, I read a quote about you were almost afraid to try to be on that show because you had self-doubt.
Yeah, I don't know anything.
No,
I didn't know anything about TV like that.
Right.
I could go talk football. I'm very curious. Like, I knew about what's going on with the Jonas Brothers and all that stuff. I knew pop references, and I was always curious. But I had watched Regis do that show forever. I watched Kelly do that show forever. I didn't know it was for me. And then to be able to go up there and talk every day in front of a live audience about something, and drinking that water sound like the most interesting, best tasting glass of water that you can ever imagine when you have nothing else to talk about. I didn't know I had the skill, but she believed that I did. And then after, 2 years there, GMA called. Yeah. And what did I tell them?
He said, absolutely not am I doing that. And I was like, why? And again, we're like, we're not going to put you out there to fail. And this is one of the great things about working with athletes that I love. What are they? Coachable. What did they do most of their lives? They were coached.
Got it.
And everybody at ABC was afraid to tell Michael that he was stumbling through the teleprompter. And I said, well, because he's never had to work with a teleprompter. Let's just get him a teleprompter coach. And they were like, I was like, I'll tell him. And I was like, you want a teleprompter coach? He's like, hell yeah. So that's the beauty of working with athletes, is they are coachable and they just want to be better no matter what they're doing.
In meetings, is she the bad cop?
Yes.
And obviously he's the good cop.
Yes.
Okay. And
Are you more afraid of me or her?
We're not afraid of anybody.
I'm doing the questions, Michael.
Apparently, him talking back to me like that means he's more afraid of you.
Yeah.
No, but I will say, when somebody gets super nasty and disrespectful, that's when he jumps in.
Yeah, I cannot stand. If somebody gets super nasty and disrespectful to her, that's when football Michael comes out.
Got it.
Yeah. Everybody knows TV Michael now. Michael, I'm even surprised at football Michael when he comes out.
How often do you disagree on a concept, on a story?
Never.
So you're pretty aligned.
Yeah. You know, I think we both are sensible. We both get along, and if there's something she's passionate about, I'm like, okay, I'm with you. Let's go. In the same way with me, we don't really disagree.
You know, he'll just want to know why. I say we should pass. He's like, well, just explain to me why. And then when I tell him, and same thing for me, because there have been times where I was like, oh, no, I don't want to do this. And he's like, but why? And then he'll give me his reason on why we should. And then I was like, okay, I didn't look at it like that. We're so blessed. I am so grateful because I don't take one day for granted with him.
Because one quote I came across is, she will be someone who will be brutally honest with you.
Yeah.
So honesty's always served you well in terms of even starting at the NFL.
1,000%.
Yeah, because in those days when you said that office was largely men, and you worked your way and worked your ass off, and you proved yourself time and again. And so now and then Michael, you said her ability to see a clear roadmap through all the glitter and muck is a real gift. Elaborate on that. Like, what do you mean?
Never heard that quote.
Well, it's true. Like I was saying, this is what you're gonna do, and for everybody, she'll call me. Okay, I had this crazy vision last night.
Hold on. I'm up watching GMA. I'm not smoking a pack a day and calling him. That's what that said.
Okay, the voice was a little smoky.
We're early in LA.
The voice was smoky, but the idea was the same. But she's like, I had this dream, this epiphany last night. I woke up, I know you're going to think I'm crazy. And then she'll throw the idea out, and I'll go, it's crazy, but it's doable. And for some reason, I think she truly has this gift to like see through all of the little things to see the big thing at the end of making it through. And I'll never forget there were things I've wanted to do, and she would go, nope. And I was like, Con, like, that's a lot of money. Like, why would we do that? She goes, you got to realize, if you don't make money, I don't make money. But if we do that, then it takes away from this, and it takes you out of that, and it takes you out of this. So she sees the big picture of everything, which I truly think is a gift, and on top of waking up from the dreams where she just has these visions.
So we've got a few minutes left. We're going to end with some quick hitters. Either we're covering every question or this technology is not working. I'm not sure which one it is, but I do want to ask, as you look at the sports landscape, any concerns or warnings, headwinds that you fear in terms of identifying with a young sports fan? It's probably what I get asked the most about. I'm sorry. Is about identifying with today's young sports fan.
I really respect what the leagues are doing and tapping into YouTube because we know that's where they are, or social media. Again, we all know Coach Prime is polarizing, but how brilliant was he with bringing social media to the forefront for following a collegiate team? And once his son was in place, we heard so many phone calls came into Deion Jr. just saying, do you have anyone from your team that we could hire? So I really believe that you've got to just hang in there for the long haul. A concern that I still have is just navigating this landscape of the collectives and NIL. Like,
right.
It's really a challenge. These kids are coming in, commanding these really high salaries, and then they are going into the NFL not realizing they're starting, proving themselves all over again. So it's a challenge.
But it's funny to me when you talk about NIL. You just said it. These kids are coming into college demanding high salaries. It doesn't even sound right. And you have some kids who will, these kids should let them make money. No problem with that. The only issue I have is I know how it is when you come into the league, and I was 21 years old. All of a sudden, everybody's your friend. All your friends want something. Your family's asking. You're going to take care of all these different people. I'm 21 years old. I'm a little more advanced than I would be when I was 17 or 18. So you have a 17 or 18-year-old who's making millions of dollars, who are being asked by those same people who are asking me at 21. They know how to say less than I do. And they don't know anything about taxes. They don't know anything about anything, really. And on top of it, you're not even a pro yet. So you may go through all that money, then by the time you get you may not make it to the pros. That is that small. And so I think that the perception that, a kid's going to make a lot of money in NIL, then he's going to go to the NFL or the NBA or whatever, doesn't work that way. I think we're going to see in some years some of the fallout from what's happening right now. In my opinion, if I were the NCAA and I wanted to do something, I'd say NIL's fine. But 20% the kid can spend, 80%, no different than a child actor. Put the money away so that these kids are not destitute, broke, and the one that's on the hook for back taxes and all these things that set them back for the rest of their lives.
Got it.
That's a documentary.
That is a documentary, yes. I do apologize. A lot of great questions. I'm sorry. So let's try to hit a couple of these quickly. Michael, would you be a good limited partner of a local NFL team?
Would I be a good limited partner?
Yes.
I'd be an excellent limited partner. I would understand limited means limited. I'm not in there trying to run your draft and tell you what to do and all these things. I'd be there whenever capacity you needed me to be. So, yeah, I think I'd be great.
And you're interested?
Absolutely.
Right, good. Talk about early doc development. Are pitches coming in or developed mostly in-house?
Both.
How do you convince shy athletes and long-standing brands of ROI in storytelling? How do you convince them of the ROI in storytelling if they're shy?
The person is shy, or
It's a little bit of both. Convince shy athletes and then long-standing brands.
we don't convince them. We've tried, and if they're
Doesn't work.
just not feeling it, it won't work. That's what we were talking about a little bit earlier, is you can't force someone to.
You got to be authentic. If he's trying to pull a personality or pull something that isn't there, it's never going to work because the public's going to watch it and it just won't be interesting. It won't be interesting to us.
Got it. For Khan, advice to young women who look up to you and want to do the type of work that you are doing.
You have to make sure you check your ego at the door. You cannot have one, and hard work truly does pay off. And don't look at things from a timeline perspective. I mean, I was an assistant for 2 years in one department, but really wanted to work in a different department, and I had to make a lateral move. Great, like it was great. So just hang in, find a mentor, and it's okay to really, truly, if you don't know something, ask someone who does. Don't fake it till you make it. The imposter syndrome, all those things, but truly, truly be authentic to yourself and work your butts off.
Is there a particular sport or team you are most excited to work with, and which sport do you think has the most untold stories?
Well, I'm just a fan. I love the Yankees, so I would do anything having to do with the Yankees.
Well, everybody knows about the Yankees.
Do you, though?
Yeah, I know a few guys. What sport? For me, I like these emerging leagues and emerging sports. I was talking to somebody the other day about cricket. I know nothing about cricket. I would like to learn about cricket.
Which is, I think, one of the biggest global sports,
biggest global
right?
sports in the world. He was trying to explain it to me, and I still didn't understand it.
I think we just found our next doc.
There we go, cricket.
And it did say, one of the questions here was, what's your thoughts about documentaries following an emerging sport? So obviously, on the right emerging sport, you're a little bullish on that.
Yeah, I love it, though. Because I think a lot of people are doing documentaries on emerging sports because we've seen literally F1. Netflix did that Drive to Survive. All of a sudden, on the F1 show, everybody and their brother is on F1 now. They brought in a completely different audience, and they saw that the audience for F1 wasn't necessarily men and young men or older men. It was young women. I mean, all the drivers freaking look like supermodels, so that helps. But, yeah, they do.
Speaking of driving, are you nervous about driving the pace car?
Indy 500? No. This weekend, I'm driving a pace car to Indy 500. Now, I am not nervous, or at least I wasn't. But the second that they announced it during the football season, I had some really good friends of mine, which I don't know how good they are. They sent me videos of a few pace cars crashing. I'm serious. I'm like, come on, dude. Why are you going to do that?
You've been to space.
I know.
That's
And I
true.
like to drive. I grew up in Germany driving on an
I've been to
Autobahn.
space.
It's level set right now.
Right.
You've
And I only
been
think
to
I go
space.
120. I think they said 120.
You go 120 on the Jersey Turnpike.
No, I do not.
But watch him on Sunday. It'll be fun. This is for Michael.
On Fox.
What former New York Giant would make for a good documentary subject?
LT.
Lawrence Taylor.
Hands down.
Yeah, I think he's one of the most interesting stories, and I know people know a lot and have heard a lot, but I think there's a lot more to pull out of there. I know there are tons of stories that I know that no one knows, and maybe no one should know, and Frank knows. But I do think that Lawrence is one of the most interesting people I've been around.
I credit him for giving me like a toughness going into like my career at the NFL, from like first sort of interaction with him when he was playing for the Giants and I was an assistant working on a mini camp. And when I started managing Snoop, I just always channeled my interaction with him. And when I see him, I'm like, thank you for that, because you toughened me up.
Is that right? And so we'll have to remember that. LT documentary could be great. Well, thoughts on storytelling, fictional storytelling, like what the Chiefs have done with Hallmark Channel. Are you a fan?
I think it's great. I mean, the more sports stories that are out there on a Hallmark channel. I mean, did any of us ever think you'd see a sports story on a Hallmark channel? I'd love it. I'm just mad I didn't think of it.
But I also think that the reason that's able to happen because sports have leaked into pop culture, and I mean, one of the best things that happened to the NFL was Taylor Swift. I mean, Travis Kelce. Yeah, but seriously, I mean, this just has completely brought in a different fan and a young girl. And now that they go like, oh, I'm going to watch the Taylor Swift team. It's like, okay, if that's what you feel like it is, as long as you watch in a lot of ways. And I've had fathers say to me that they're just happy they can watch a game with their daughter. That daughter would never care about football. So I think just the mixture of all the different industries that, along with sports, has made sports more intriguing to everybody.
As we wrap up here, we've got a couple of quick hitters here. What was the biggest early bet that you two made that had a chance of not being successful and maybe even tanking the company? Is there a risk you made, like, we're putting a lot on the line on this one?
I mean, to the outside world, you getting the Regis job, I mean, I knew you wouldn't tank it, but I mean, a lot of people were definitely rooting against him, and then same thing going over to Good Morning America.
Yeah, I was the opposite of Regis, big black guy, little white guy. So I think a lot of people thought that I was even in the running for it, which I didn't either when I first started doing it. But I think that job, I think Good Morning America making that move was a big move, because that was another job I said no to. Like, I didn't want to do it, but it ended up being the best decision I've ever made in my career.
And then bringing physical production in-house, that could have gone one way or the other. And Anthony Smith, who came to us from the NFL, literally just put us on the rocket ship that he was on. And
yeah, physical production was a big investment.
Huge investment.
Yeah, but it has worked out tremendously.
Right. All right, you see the time. What's next for SMAC and what's next for the both of you? We'll end with that.
Go ahead, boss.
No, you go.
What's next for SMAC? I think that, I think for us, we're going to grow. We now turn down so many potential clients who want to come because the bandwidth. Right. And we do believe that in order to take them, we have to make sure we have the right amount and the right people in position to really help. And we don't take on somebody just to have them in our business and in our portfolio. We really want to help people. So I think for us, figuring out a way that we can grow as a management company, but also I think production is the biggest thing for us right now.
Venturing into the scripted world. And then also, we're going to have a big presence at Cannes Lion this year, which we're excited about. We'll be hosting a happy hour, which we've never done before. So it might seem like a small kind of thing to these big companies, but when you're only 25 people and it's just he and I, you just like, okay, this is we're taking a big swing and we're excited about it.
That's where a lot of the sports entertainment media have really gone.
That Sport Beach is, I mean, you can get more business done there. And it doesn't suck being in south of France.
Right. And so for Dr. Morini, there's no other big changes in your life coming up?
That's enough.
And you got your doctorate in what?
What the hell is it? Honorary, oh my gosh.
You should know.
Humane letters.
You're not operating on me if you don't know your field.
It's a doctorate in humane letters.
In humane letters.
My contributions to the world. Like you. You're my contribution.
We'll end with that. I do want to say that, are you speechless?
Yeah, I mean, I'm offended.
Right.
And I want to say hi to Frankie V. For those of you that don't know, there's a legend sitting in the
Total
front row.
legend, Frankie V.
Frank.
And I will say, this gentleman and this woman they've been on our target list to speak at one of our events for a long, long time. So for both of you for doing this, we really appreciate it. Fantastic. We know your schedule.
Thank you, Abe. Appreciate you. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Thanks for joining us for SBJ's On Stage. If you enjoyed this inside look at how SMAC Entertainment blends business, brand, and storytelling, make sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and share this episode with colleagues or anyone thinking about the future of athlete-driven media. Here's a question to bring back to your team. In a media landscape driven by personality and platforms, how are you helping your talent or your organization build lasting, multidimensional brands? Send me your thoughts at tbloom@sportsbusinessjournal.com. We'll be back next week with another candid conversation from a leader shaping the future of sports business. Until then, stay tuned and stay ahead. This is On Stage.